I just got done grocery shopping, and I'm telling you, things are becoming so dystopian, and like things are changing. My husband and I are going to retire in a very rural part of Michigan. So we come up here to our little cabin a lot, and it's 70% went to Donald Trump. And the city itself is in the bottom 10%. Well, I should say top 10% for poverty. Anyway, it just felt so different. Everybody, I mean, the store was packed and everybody was moving so slow because like everybody was studying everything in shock. First, Meijer's, like so many grocery stores, was bombarding you with sale, 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 sale. And, you know, you stop getting excited about it because when you look at it, yeah, you can buy 2 bags of cheese and get a third one free, but it still comes out to almost $5 for 2 cups of cheese. I mean, I bought 1 tomato for $2.50, a tomato. And it was like that everywhere. A loaf of bread now, if you wanted organic, was you couldn't find one for less than $5, but it had sale all over it. And I felt like, because I've grocery shopped here before, people who voted for Donald Trump, and they wear it proudly here, would walk around happy and cocky, right? Like winners. We're winners, as Donald Trump says. Nope. Nope. This price gouging, this economy is the great equalizer because we were all now in the same boat. And there was a lot of like sharing comments to each other, a lot of commentary with total between strangers, including with me. And then I noticed some Trump supporters, again, wearing their, like, you could tell from the tattoos and everything, they were so unhappy. Like that cockiness and happiness, they were so unhappy. And then checking out, like the workers there just were busy going from cash register to cash register because everybody would be like, this is supposed to be on sale for this much and it's coming up this much. And then they'd all have to explain all the fine print. And so it wasn't the deal they thought it was. And, well, I can't take this now. Like they were constantly having to take products from customers who couldn't afford it. Like, this is bad. This is really bad. Let's see where this goes.
Lately, it feels like the conversations we're having at the dinner table have completely shifted. People are looking around at their everyday lives, from the price of basic groceries to the way they're treated at work, and realizing the old script isn't working anymore. When a simple trip to the supermarket leaves you in shock over the total on the receipt, or when an employer shows total indifference to your well-being after years of hard work, something breaks. Millions of everyday Americans are reaching a breaking point, not because of some abstract theory, but because the basic math of survival just doesn't add up anymore.
Everything is manipulated and everything in our reality is a scam. From the banking system to the stock market to the version of history that we're taught. It's all one big giant Ponzi scheme. Social Security is not security. By the time you get back what you paid into it, inflation has already depreciated its value. Banks are not protecting your money either. Since 2020, banks have been allowed to keep 0% reserves on deposits, meaning they can loan out virtually all of your money. And the Federal Reserve is not federal at all. It's a private banking system that does not serve the public interest. The Federal Reserve has equity holders, and they are not American, just like many of the other central banks around the world. And even the language is manipulated. So a trust fund, the word trust does not mean the same thing to them as it does to us. You're told to trust people with your money who do not give a damn about you. Inflation statistics, unemployment statistics, and the economic data are all manipulated. The stock market, highly manipulated. Everything is a Ponzi scheme, except for if you or I ran it, we'd be in jail. But the interesting part is they do tell us the truth, and it's through fiction. Think about it, The Wizard of Oz and Rumpelstiltskin. These stories revolve around illusion, deception, and authority. So the witch rules through fear and control enforced by her flying monkeys who police the people. History itself is written by the victors, which means much of what we've learned in the school system is a manufactured narrative presented as facts.
Robots at Kroger. So I'm here at Kroger and I finally noticed that they added robots. Let's take a look. Oh, hey, what's up, dog? Take a look at that. How you doing? Hi, I'm Tally. Oh, look. Hi, Tally. You are a check self-inventory. How are you? Very cool. You can go. Here. It's scanning me. Come on, Tally. Come on. There we go. See, he's having a good time. Well, she is, actually. I'm assuming checking the inventory. Very nice. So, very cool. That is a robot at Kroger. So that's where we're starting. Take a look at that.
So I'm at 7-Eleven waiting for my fiance who's inside getting a drink, and this thing just told me to not loiter. Yep.
People are struggling and people are dying and people are literally working their lives away to survive. And I don't know why, but it enrages me to see Met Gala. It's so tone deaf. It's so very capital Hunger Games, and I don't know why people are just like consuming this and not outraged. We the people have handed those billionaires their lives. And we're all just sitting here taking scraps and being grateful. And that's for Lulu. The collective population needs to rise. We need to start standing and revolting and fighting because it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit that people are smiling at these events, wearing their ridiculous, overpriced costumes, while everyone else just works their lives away to be able to pay their bills, not to actually live and enjoy life, but just to survive. This dystopian world is so broken. It's just, I just can't. I don't know. Have the day you deserve.
So I don't know if it's just me who's noticed this, but like, this is the most anti-social generation or like time of my entire life. Not like me personally, because I'm a yapper, but like everybody around is so weird. Like I went to the grocery store the other day and there was a worker by the produce and she was like stocking stuff and I was just like right by her. So I said, hi, and like smiled at her and she just looked at me like almost repulsed that I said hello to her. And I'm just like, okay. Or like people will walk past you and like be so afraid to look at you. And I think that's so weird. It makes me so uncomfortable. Like, first of all, are you not like aware of your surroundings? Because I stare at anybody who walks past me. I don't care if you're a man, a female, whatever you are, but I'm gonna look at you and I will stare into your soul because first of all, I'm just very aware of my surroundings and I like to know the people that are around me. But like, I don't know, like people just are just even afraid to like look in your direction. And that is just so mind-boggling to me. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just like the phone thing and social media that everybody's so comfortable with just like being whoever they are online. They don't even know who they are in person. So they just act like a robot and just stay silent. But it's weird.
I find it very odd that I feed the deer in our backyard all the leftover vegetables that we have that are going bad. So at least it, can go to some good. They have not touched any of the food or vegetables that I've thrown in the backyard over the fence in the last week. I had to pick it up yesterday and actually throw it in the garbage because it was decayed at that point. Do you guys understand that if they're not eating vegetables, there's at least 20 of them that come by every morning and every night, and they stop in the backyard where our fire pit is, and they eat the grass and they eat the leaves off the trees. They have not touched a single vegetable. I have thrown carrots, I have thrown celery, I have thrown bell peppers, that all of it was still there yesterday. This is scary. They are KILing us through everything, including our food. And mind you, this was organic vegetables. This is the stuff that costs an arm and a frickin' leg to purchase. This is getting scary, and I'm scared for myself and my child because I try to buy decent food with the little money that I have, and it's all riddled with chemicals. I mean, if wild animals are not eating our food, which they used to eat it up within no time, I mean, it would be gone, devoured, because I have to cut the grass back there, and I notice everything on the yard. I mean, in our property. You guys have seen the deer a million times. I've videoed them. You guys know my property, and you guys should know where I'm talking about, behind the fire pit, or behind the fence where the fire pit is. This is crazy. This is scary. When are we going to stand up? When is enough enough? When are we going to be done with the bullshit? With the bullshit. They want us gone, and that's end of story. There's nothing else we can say. There's no but, what, maybe this, that, you if you think different. I'm sorry, I don't give a shit anymore. You're part of the problem. I feel so bad for my kid and her generation, who are going to be beyond measure with everything. Everything. And I can't work hard enough, long enough, 7 days a week in order to provide anything to give to her when I die. It's so sad.
You know what I think's going on right now? And it's not just me. Is everybody's going through their own spiritual awakenings. Like, you're sleeping like shit. You're waking up like almost every hour on the hour. You're feeling lost in life. The things that you used to like to do, you don't really want to do them anymore, which could cause like depression. Obviously, like the ears ringing, vivid dreams, crazy dreams. And then when you start losing interest in the things that you like to do or you love to do, you start questioning yourself. You're like, man, should I be doing something else? But then if you're like depressed, you don't really feel like doing anything, you know? And sometimes that's what it's there for, is to wake you up, because maybe you're on a path and now it's time to go do something else. And then other times it's just part of the spiritual awakening, you know? So surprise, they're not that fun, if anybody was wondering. And I don't know how many you can go through in life, but man, I swear this is like my 150th spiritual awakening, it feels like. Maybe not that many, but it feels like it.
It's not what we asked for, but it's what we're getting. If you don't realize this yet, the digital ID surveillance structure is completely being rolled out and is happening fast, like right now. Starmer mentioned it last year that if you don't have digital ID, you're not going to have a job.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
And now King Charles is talking about how they're rolling out the digital ID system.
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
And this meeting with Xi Jinping is not a coincidence. Trump brought all his tech bros with him, and they are installing this overarching surveillance system for the world. And all these countries that seem to be at odds with one another, they're not. Most of these countries are working together, even though they look like they're opposing each other. And the only countries that are really opposing this entire system are those that have a rule of law based on religion. Countries like Iran. And so those are the countries that are going to be resisting this the most, of course, because they believe that the rule comes from a higher power, not from the governing body. And if you don't want to participate in this system, I honestly think it's too late. Like, you've been a part of digital ID for years. Every time you unlocked your phone, every time you did a Google search, every time you left the country, every single thing that you've done that involves technology has involved a surveillance component for years and years and years. And so all of the information that these systems need to understand who you are and what you look like are already fully constructed. It's pretty obvious if you just look at all the data centers they're building that they're clearly not for just processing our AI transactions. You know, like there is a clear focus. We're going to be the AI capital of the world. We're going to be the surveillance capital of the world. And it's going to be headquartered out of DC under the ballroom. This is the advancement towards a one world government. This is going exactly to plan. And you had to be a conspiracy theorist to believe that this was happening a number of years ago. And now you have to be a conspiracy theorist to think that it's going to work out okay. And actually, as a conspiracy theorist, self-proclaimed, I believe there is a path where this actually works out. But it requires you to think like a complete crazy person to believe that to be true. So I'll be happy to go down that rabbit hole with you in another video here later. But in the meantime, you have to start asking yourself the question, what am I willing to accept? And what am I willing to fight for?
Hey y'all, hey. I just left my doctor's office and I gotta be honest. Ever since my breakdown and the pandemic, I can't see the world the same. I can't interact with the world the same. And we've been trying to figure out how I should navigate the world. Trying to manage my symptoms. I'm literally allergic to this society. I have no desire to participate, and I literally don't have the energy to do anything because all my energy is wrapped up in just trying to survive. I don't care about the things that we were told we should care about. I don't give about none of it. You feel me? Like, now that I see through the veil and I understand now what has happened to us and what we're doing, like I feel like conspiracy theorists and, you know, woke people, whatever you want to call it, it's just another way for them to keep us controlled. Right? Like, I remember having these thoughts and like pushing them down because I wasn't comfortable sharing them because it went against everything that was normal in society. But they came from somewhere, right? Like, why am I having these thoughts? Why am I feeling this way? This shit is not natural. We're not living in a natural way. And balance is about to be restored because everybody that sees through the veil and all the shit that's happening is waking up. We're waking up and starting to question shit. Like, we're literally like a big ass human experiment. They keep doing shit knowing the impact it will have on our subconscious mind and our behaviors and our belief system. They know how this shit works. Why didn't they teach us this shit in school? Because they don't want us to know. They want to control us. And we're out here thinking we're free and we're making choices. No, is it really a choice if they give you the things to choose from? Are you really free? Like, that shit blows my mind. I have no interest. And I look at people like, get the f out of my face. Like, I literally don't have the energy to do anything else. My brain and all the stuff I was doing before, that shit it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. After my breakdown, or before my breakdown, when things started crumbling around me and things were falling apart, I was like, what the f is going on? The biggest catalyst for me was when I got sick from working from home, I ended up having pulmonary embolism. I was hospitalized for like 3 days. And shortly after, my job started phasing people back into the office, just during the pandemic. My doctors suggesting that I do not go back into the office out of fear of getting exposed to COVID because I'm still recovering from my lung condition. When my job pushed back and basically said, we don't care that you were just hospitalized, you still got to come into the office. Mind you, I was working from home for over 2 years, doing my job efficiently. My direct supervisor approved the fact that I can still continue work from home, but they wanted to push back and basically said they didn't give a if I died or not. Because if my doctors are saying that I have a lung condition that can possibly cause complications and death if I get exposed to COVID, why would you demand that I come back into the office? And this is the shit I'm talking about. Like the things that they think they have control over, they think that they should be able to make decisions like that for your life. Like, you just proved to me that you don't give a fuck about me. And that shit hit hard, yo. I was like, what? And then the fight began after that. Like, after that, everything's changed for me. Everything changed for me. I was like, I can't. What the I'm not doing it. I started saying no. I was like, I don't care. And I filed civil rights complaints. I went up to HR. I filed a federal lawsuit. Like, all the things, exhausted all my resources trying to fight my case. And even was during this time, the process, I'm being told that you're up against a Goliath. I'm like, then call me David, yo. What the you know what I mean? Like, don't try to make this shit okay. Don't try to humble me and tell me to stand down because you're not going to be able to do and for system. Because at the end of the day, this is my life. And if I am not here, you're all going to move the phone. So I have to prioritize myself. And I don't even know what that looks like because I've never had to do that before. Well, not had to, but I should have. But I've never done it before, right? I've always been dependent on external things for everything. And everything came to light. Everything started unraveling. And I was forced to face myself. So I'm grateful for all the things that I went through. Don't get me wrong. But it exposed so much that I can't function in society anymore. I can't function under these rules, these systems, none of it. I can't. And I'm not going to be forced to. I literally don't give a fuck what the consequences are. Because death at this point is not a threat. That's not a threat. That's something I gladly welcome at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I return to whatever. Like, this body can go to hell because it's been programmed by somebody else. It hasn't been programmed by me. So I'm now trying to figure out how my body works, understand who I am, and connect with whatever that I'm supposed to have been connected to. And I look around and there's nothing in this society that supports this. I don't want no parts of it. I'm over it. And I just left my doctor's office and we're constantly talking about like how to help me recover from the shit that I went through. And they slap a label on you when you start waking up. You know, they give you some mental health disorder or some kind of, you know, whatever, label you crazy because you no longer, like, I'm literally allergic. You can no longer function in this society. I don't want to work for nobody because I realize they don't give a fuck about me just to make money to pay for shit that y'all made up, that y'all are stealing from the earth anyway. Like, all this shit is made from natural resources. Everything. Every single thing that you see, that you use, everything, this car, this phone, your spoon, everything. They figure out how to use natural resources to create something. And then when you invent money and then exploit people to make the money to buy the thing that you use natural resources to create. Why are we not just sharing and evolving as a society? If I create something from natural resources that we all can benefit from, why would I not just share it? None of this shit makes sense and nobody's been questioning it. And now we're all sitting here watching this shit crumble. But hey, it's America for you, right? Over it.
What we're seeing across the country isn't just frustration over inflation. It's a profound exhaustion with a system that feels increasingly indifferent to everyday people. When corporate events flaunt unimaginable wealth while regular families have to put items back at the checkout counter, the disconnect becomes impossible to ignore. People are tired of working 7 days a week just to fall further behind. They are tired of feeling like numbers on a corporate spreadsheet. This isn't about politics or fringe theories, it's about the tangible daily strain on the American working class. We're witnessing a collective realization that the current economic trajectory isn't sustainable for ordinary families, and people are starting to demand a society that actually values their labor and their lives. Are you noticing this shift in your own community or at your workplace? How are you navigating these rising costs and corporate pressures? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.